I was FaceTiming my mother this morning, which we do every day. Of course, for me, it's coffee time first thing in the morning. For her, it's afternoon tea because she's 5,000 miles away. And she was amused at my efforts with plastic balls in the back garden over there. And we started talking about it, and I realized in the conversation that, in fact, she was the one who started this. We lived in Scotland when I was in my teen years, and she got into golf and had two coconut doormats that she set on the floor in the garage and plastic balls, just like mine here. And she would whack those into the door. Obviously, she's inside. It's a tin door, so it used to make quite a lot of noise. I remember it being a subject of some complaint when I was doing it, because as I got better, I was hitting harder, it was louder. And she would have a golf book in front of her, and we couldn't figure out what that golf book was. And she made a couple of remarks about which one it was, or what she remembered was the name. She thought Marjorie or Margaret. And something clicked. I may have remembered it in some part of my brain. I said, what about Mickey Wright? And it was the right way to golf. Mickey Wright, a wonderful champion. And that was the book that she used to prop up in front of her and hit balls and learn how to play the game of golf. She always played better than my dad, who would tell her how to do it, but hit way worse than she did. And so I'll continue this conversation regarding my involvement with the plastic balls on Patreon. So I, of course, acquired the same habit. It was the winter when I got interested in the game, and so I would whack balls in the garage for really the whole winter. And when I came out that next spring, I was actually a pretty good golfer. That summer, I shot an 84 on a tough course, par 73 course, Kings Park in Stirling, rough up to here. And in fact, the rough was very severe, and they didn't actually have a tractor in those days. My father was in the Ford tractor business. He was the regional manager, actually, for Ford Motor Company in Scotland. And he would arrange for the club to borrow a tractor from a local farmer twice a year to cut the rough there, which was fascinating. So that shows you how deep the rough was. So anyway, I shot an 84 there. And that was when I was starting to get better at the game. And it occurred to me to think about what it is that makes people get hooked for a lifetime on golf. And I was asking my mother this. And for me, it was that when my father returned to golf after some break, I was at that time about 15. We'd just moved to Scotland. And he took me to a local football club, soccer. And he had real balls to practice with. He wanted to get up to speed again, but he had plastic ones for me. And he would row these plastic balls up on tees for me, and I'd hit them. The second day we went, he must have sensed that something was improving, so he put two plastic balls and then a real ball. And I hit the two plastic balls, and of course they go 30 yards, whatever, and I watched them fly. Then I hit the third one, the real ball, and I couldn't see it, and he pulled me by the shoulder and pointed, and it was still going up, and I hit this wonderful golf shot. It felt incredible. I'd never felt anything like that before. The feel of a great golf shot is very intoxicating. And I couldn't repeat that shot again that day, but I was hooked. So that's a typical example of what hooks people on golf. It's that one perfect shot that just, you can't wait to do it again. The feel, the sound, just the emotion. That year, after I got better at the game, after I'd shot an 84 or in that general vicinity in time, I was able to, on the second hole there, par 4, that dog legs a little bit. It's got more trees now based on what I can see on Google Earth, but in those days relatively few and only small. But I hit a tee shot that drew around the corner, missed the bunker in the corner, and ran, because it was hard, and ran through the green 305 yards away, and I was spindly. And the group ahead were not exactly thrilled that I had done that, even though I apologized profusely and they let me play through. And I was so intimidated, I hit a pretty awful chip and three putted, so I bogeyed the hole even though I'd driven through the green. and then teed off on the next hole and carried on playing ahead of them. And that was a typical example. And another one that comes to mind is the first time I actually ever played a round of golf. It was with my mother's clubs, by the way, on the same course. And I shot 113, legitimately 113, which I'm very proud of. And I birdied on that hole, on that first round. The seventh hole's a par 5, and it was frosty. It was late in the year. And I hit this tee shot, and I sort of semi-topped it, and it ran about 200 yards down the right side. I topped a 3-wood that ran 180 yards down the right side again. Then I topped a third, a 6-iron, that ran up this far from the hole and made the putt. And so I had my first birdie with 3 pretty abjectly bad golf shots. But never forget that. And so there's an example of how golf gets under your skin. And here we are, pretty much 50 plus years later, talking about this thing. So I hope you find that interesting.